Elbc Newsine, a full hour of captivating news from Liberia and other parts of the world. Today is Tuesday, January 13, 2026. My name is Fabian Pia presenting, and these are our top stories. President Joseph Boyka dedicates modern vehicle showroom in support of private sector growth and job creation. Liberia National Police sent to court former CDC Chairman Mova Mully and others on multiple criminal charges. This 30-year civil aviation master plan is a strategic framework consistent with President Boyka's arrest agenda. Liberia Civil Aviation Authority launches 20-year civil aviation master plan. And in foreign news, more than 200 suspected members of an armed criminal gang in central Nigeria killed in ongoing operations. These stories and much more, including sports, the weather forecast, the news in Liberian English and French. But first, Chris Sau and the news bulletin.
President Joseph Boyka has submitted several instruments to the Senate for amendment. The instruments include an act to amend the act establishing the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and an act to amend Title 26 Penal Law, Liberian Code of Law revised to provide for illicit enrichment and that's corruption. Others are an act to amend Part 5 and 12 of the National Code of Conduct for all public officials and employees of government and the Third Amendment of the Asylum-Metal Mineral Agreement. In his communication, President Boyka said the enactment will significantly enhance Liberia's institutional capacity to combat corruption, promote transparency, and foster development. The Liberian leader urged the legislature to give the instruments due consideration to enact them into law. The Senate Joint Committee on Concession, Mines and Energy, Judiciary and Ways, Means and Finance has begun reviewing the Third Amendment of the Asylum-Metal Mineral Development Agreement. It followed the submission of the proposed instrument by President Joseph Boyka Tuesday to the legislature. The NDA framework provides that Liberia is granted the right to establish a multi-user rail regime on a new rail system operating principles. Asylum-Metal Liberia is expected to make an upfront payment of 200 million United States dollars upon ratification of the agreement by the legislature. Under the agreement, Asylum-Metal Liberia will contribute 5 million United States dollars annually for community development within the concession areas. The Liberian National Police Tuesday charged and forwarded stand Chairman Moba Molu to the Monrovia City Court on multiple charges. Police named the crimes as criminal conspiracy, criminal solicitation, riot, failure to disperse, disorderly conduct, and obstruction of highways and other public passages for sitting and congregating in the main streets, thus destroying property as well. Police charge she revealed that complainant Natham Ahmed, OIC of the Financial Intelligence Unit, stated to the police that on December 17, on board several vehicles sustained cuts as a result of vandalism carried out by protesters of stand. NASA explained that it was believed that when the police ordered the protesters of the civil society group stand to leave the streets, they escaped the shelling and tear gas and ran into the nearby communities. He narrated that during the process, 3 of the FRA employees were targeted, with protesters who forcibly removed their mobile phones and personal belongings, including numerous checks belonging to the agency. Nassar further narrated that these actions have not only compromised the safety of the employees, but also pose serious security implications for sensitive information that the protesters have made away with. According to the complainant, among those things made away with by the protesters were checks meant to pay employee salaries for the month of December 2025. Meanwhile, Molu has been bailed out by his lawyers. The Liberia Civil Aviation Authority has launched its Civil Aviation Master Plan 2025 to 2045. The long-term strategic framework is aimed at transforming and sustaining the nation's civil aviation sector over the next 20 years. Speaking at the launch Tuesday, Liberia Civil Aviation Authority Director General Julius Dennis described the master plan as a comprehensive roadmap designed to strengthen aviation safety, modernize infrastructure, and build local technical capacity through targeted training programs and strategic partnerships. Mr. Dennis added that the plan aligns Liberia's aviation development with international best practices while supporting sustainable growth across the sector. For his part, LCAA Deputy Director General for Administration Stephen Johnson said the master plan represents a defining moment for Liberia's civil aviation sector. Mr. Johnson highlighted the importance of coordinated implementation, calling on all departments within the authority to work in unison to ensure the plan is successfully executed in strict compliance with global aviation standards. Meanwhile, Liberia Civil Aviation Authority Board Chairman David Pahat has described as a milestone initiative the launch of Civil Aviation Master Plan. Mr. Pahat, speaking Tuesday at the headquarters of the Civil Aviation Authority in Adelmargibi County, said the lack of strategic plan for many sectors of the country has hindered the progress of the country. He said the plan will move the aviation sector to a new height while at the same time urging the LCAA to work with the airport authority in connecting Liberia to the United States with direct flights. Also speaking, the special assistant to the transport minister, Amos Bobo, said the launch of the master plan is a new vision that will transform Liberia from a transit point to a premier West African aviation hub. Mr. Bobo added that the strategic plan will help in attracting new routes for other international airlines. He said the Transport Ministry will work along with the Liberia Civil Aviation Authority to fully implement the plans, which has the propensity of improving the Liberian economy. The lawyer representing former suspended Deputy Youth and Sports Minister for Youth Development, Councillor Lakia Gu, has commended the Liberia National Police for conducting a professional and transparent investigation in the case involving his client, Bryant McGill. Councillor Gu said the police process was thorough, impartial, and based on facts, clearing Mr. McGill of all allegations due to lack of substantial evidence. He revealed that DNA samples collected from the victim did not match his client and no evidence links him to the alleged crime. The councillor emphasized that Mr. McGill remains committed to supporting efforts to identify and hold the actual perpetrator accountable. Councillor Good described the outcome of as reaffirmation of due process and professionalism within Liberia's justice system, highlighting the importance of evidence-based investigations in safeguarding reputations and public trust. Meanwhile, former suspended Deputy Youth and Sports Minister for Youth Development, Brian McGill, is calling on national and international institutions to respect justice and due process following police findings clearing him of rape allegation. He urged women organizations, the NGO Secretariat, and United Nations agencies in Liberia to acknowledge the police findings. Addressing a news conference in Monrovia, the former Deputy Youth and Sports Minister also appealed to youth and students groups, including the Federation of Liberian Youth and the Liberian National Students Union, to stand for truth. He called on relevant government institutions to act consistently in upholding justice. The Liberia Revenue Authority, LRA, has announced a total of $848 million in domestic revenue. Making the disclosure Tuesday, LRA Commissioner General Dobo Jala said the collection surpassed the projected target of $804 million, representing an increase of $48 million. Commissioner Jala also disclosed that more than $10 million of the revenue collected came from the Ministry of Transport, noting that the amount is expected to double in 2026.
So we've collected more than 804 million, which was our target. Right now, we are at 848 million, and we still reconcile it. What that means is that the number will get to grow bigger. So
the LRA attributed the Transport Ministry's performance to its improved understanding of the sector and its continued efforts to bolster government revenue collection. Commissioner Jada further assured Liberians that the government is confident of achieving the $1.2 billion fiscal year 2026 national budget before the end of 2026. And while Commissioner Jala has described the launch of the new automated vehicle registration driver's license system as a sign of progress, reform, and a demonstration of how the country is moving forward, Commissioner Jala believes the new system will make public services simpler and more modern while strengthening transparency and accountability in the license renewal process. He also highlighted the strong collaboration between the Ministry of Transport and the Liberia Revenue Authority.
Because today's program is not just another program on the calendar. Today is not just about launching the system. Today is about progress. Today is about reform. Today is about how Liberia chooses to move forward.
Commissioner Jala maintained that every vehicle brought into the country on the duty waiver will be thoroughly checked. An effort he said will be supported by the Nigerian National Police and other law enforcement agencies. The LRA boss, however, stressed that the new system aligns with the government's arrest agenda for inclusive development. The president of the Legislative Press, Emmanuel Colley, has challenged journalists covering the legislature to uphold a higher standard of professionalism and ethical conduct. Journalist Colley wants his colleagues to always be professional in the discharge of their duties in the wake of the reopening of the legislature on Capitol Hill. At a news conference Tuesday in Monrovia, the ELBC reporter admonished his colleagues on Capitol Hill to avoid sensationalism, personal bias, misinformation, and unverified reporting.
The legislative press pool comprising accredited reporters covering both the House of Representatives and the Liberian Senate calls on all of its members to uphold the highest standards of professionalism, ethical journalism, and responsible conduct as the third session of the 55th legislature officially begins.
Mr. Colley believes such action has the tendency to derail public trust and undermine the credibility and integrity of journalism. Meanwhile, the president of the Legislative Press Pool has called for mutual respect and constructive engagement with lawmakers, staff, and security personnel in line with established protocols governing legislative coverage. A 24-year-old Liberian, Jeremiah Sherman, has fallen victim to an alleged scam involving a group operating under the name QNet Network Marketing. According to Mr. Sherman, he was introduced to the group through his younger brother. He told ELBC Tuesday his brother convinced him that the group was offering a football opportunity abroad. To be eligible, he needed to pay 180,000 Liberian dollars as processing fee. Sherman further disclosed that since January 5 of this year, he has made several visits to the QNet office located in Lower Street community, but unable to get any clarification. He disclosed that the money was provided by his mother, who is currently engaged in the charcoal business in Kingsville community. Sherman is warning Liberians to be vigilant as the number of scam groups operating in the country appears to be on the rise. NAMOD Partners for Democratic Development has released its 2025 President's Meter Report, reviewing government's first year of implementing the arrest agenda for inclusive development across 378 interventions. NAMOD Executive Director Eddie Jawolo said the findings reveal slow overall implementation, noting that only 3 interventions were fully completed in the first year, while 165 interventions showed some progress. However, Mr. Jawolo said 76 interventions have not started and 134 interventions could not be assessed due to limited publicly available data.
Over 1 year, 378 interventions, 55.5% of the intervention either not active or not adequate information to verify for the recent percent of the implementation. So you know, what we did, 55.5% will not be weighted or have not started.
He said human capital development and economic transformation emerged as the weakest performing pillars due to underfunding, weak interministerial coordination, and inadequate reporting mechanisms. The Name-Watch board disclosed that despite these challenges, the report documents notable gains, including the establishment of the One Economic Crime Support Office biometric ID card registration for more than 710,000 citizens and targeted investment in agriculture, energy, and tourism, among others. And the Cassava Transportation Project has dedicated and turned over an incubator and resource center to the Natemuji Agricultural Resource Center Liberia Limited for cassava processing in Sino County. Our correspondent said the decision of the cassava transportation project followed numerous constraints faced by cassava farmers in processing the cassava into finished products. Our correspondent disclosed that the organization is also conducting training for the farmers that will be part of the production process. The Sino County Agricultural Group has been named as the best cash crop in an effort to encourage the continuous planting and processing of coconut. According to our correspondent, the group headed by the County Agriculture Coordinator Maxwell Say was named the best cash crop at the agricultural fair held recently in Lantanima County. In another development, youth in Sino County have loaded former envelope bus towards Peninsula for donating laptop and chairs for data collection in the county.
Crystal and the news bulletin.